Alright, so we have this Japanese team with an Eternity player, one Cell, and a bunch of GMs versus Split's team, which is an OS team that has a bunch of just Cell players, basically. Cell GM players. Very, very strong team. Alrighty. This is round 6 of MRC. So winning if you're in the upper bracket, I'm pretty sure guarantees top 32. And if you win it while you're in the lower bracket, you need to win your next game to guarantee top 32. We always fucking get this domination map opening up, like, with the random picks. It's so annoying. I hate it so much. Alright, Iron Fist target bend out on the side of the Japanese team away from Splits, an absolute... sorry, not Japanese. An absolute Iron Fist merchant. ClydesDungeon matching that with a Gambit ban invis save, and the Japanese team saving Phoenix. Second bans will be Tank Pool getting sent away by the Australian team, and the Japanese team not wanting to deal with the Hela. Then following up with a Rogue save, interestingly enough, which I do respect, that character's super fun, and ClydesDungeon not even saving anything. And finally, a Daredevil ban by ClydesDungeon. That's really interesting, because Split, back when he used to play with us, he was kind of a two-trick, like one-tricked Iron Fist, and then he like really started learning Daredevil when he came out. Also Snowban. I think recently he's been super high up on that that blade, the blade value. Which, let's see, actually, I'm really interested to see how much value he can squeeze out of Blade. They did shift his anti-heal onto his sword, which was seen as a buff overall. However, they then nerfed his sword damage and his gun damage, which I think all the Blade players were complaining, why are you nerfing us? We really don't need nerfs, no one's playing us right now. In this scene, the pretty standard backline coming through from ClydesDungeon, as well as the Air and Phoenix Blade. Strange. Emma Strange being a very, very good frontline for murdering tanks, basically, with the anti-heal coming out from Blade, especially when you include an Sandy Blind and Invis grab. The only change that could make it better is like Strange could be swapped out with Thing for % max HP damage, the anti-mobility, and the vulnerability on his F, but Strange just as good. Our Japanese team running 3 sup, Mantis in the Invis, as well as the Groot, Rogue frontline, and solo DPS Phoenix. Pretty standard, pretty strong. Although let's see how it functions, because normally in these 3 subcomps you really do want an Adam. Adam Mantis is very, very powerful. Adam again, realistically. And no Loki as well. Normally Loki's like an absolute standpoint in this comp. Let's see. My OCE team, obviously playing at 110 ping, whereas our Japanese players were on 88 ping, still relatively high actually, so even numbers there. Split getting grabbed off in the corner, missing his shift, nearly falling, but doesn't end up going down. The tanks on the side of ClydesDungeon dropping onto point. He should drop soon. Split contesting the high ground a little bit. Does he opt for a dive here, or does he simply back up? Just backs up, doesn't end up pushing too deep. Let's see, will he opt for some anti-heal? It is Rogue on the front line, anti-heals her, she ends up having to dash out. He uses his second shift and just falls on the front line. Alright. So this is the Blade gameplay that we hyped up, our Celestial level Blade play. He's very, very good at the game. Double dashes in, dies. And then the rest of the team just crumbles. The 3 sub comp with the Groot and the Phoenix wouldn't work. No. He's enough of Blade yet? Maybe he is. He's got the hero map. Yep, he's on Punisher. Need something for the Groot walls. Fuck the Blade onto the Punisher. That makes sense. The Groot is always annoying. I do feel like ClydesDungeon were a little bit split there. It's a little bit hard to tell from Split's perspective. However, I feel like the subs spent a little bit too much time onto high ground, and then by the time they ended up dropping, there was too much pressure. Strange Shot comes down from ClydesDungeon, one-shots Phoenix through the sup ulti. Very important pick to get, because now the Japanese team left with no support, and they didn't even have to invest a sup ulti to match. So a second sup ulti comes down, which is a bit early. Nest matches. So now, ClydesDungeon has huge tempo in the sup ultis. Emerald does come to the match from that third sport ulti comes down. But then the match comes down from our C and the ulti, off to the side a little bit, so it could have gained much more space. And Phoenix does end up dying because of that. Punisher free hitting onto the hype, but Phoenix is back. Punisher drops with his ulti. Groot comes down. Can they sustain it? Burns the Phoenix ult with the Punisher ulti. Can he find any more value? Currently playing Ring Around the Rosie with Groot. Not quite getting enough healing from his supports. Doesn't end up dying, but doesn't find enough value with the ulti in itself. And the Groot Wall's finishing up the kill. Looks like a winning fight for the Japanese team. They're currently up 2 right now. Both DPS dead. Phoenix only just arriving back to the fight. Can they hold the space? Strange Ult comes in, finds 3-4 from the Strange ulti. Insane play by Standard Bum. It was a lost fight until that play. Currently, I'm assuming the ace of the team. Yes, 5 finals. Absolutely carrying ClydesDungeon on his back with those Strange ultis. I'm really curious though, because Strange ultis should not really be a thing with Invis Boop and C&D iframes in the game, right? It shouldn't be allowed. C&D should just press shift and right click. No one should get hit by it. Like, Invisible Woman should boop and self shield. No one should get hit. Mantis realistically isn't hitting her sleep there, which is fine. I wonder if that was purely a misplay off of the Japanese teams, and Split's already caught on high ground. Ooh. Wonder if it's a misplay from the Japanese team, or if they timed the resources and the Japanese team had all of their shit on cooldown. Alright, ClydesDungeon currently in a 5 versus 6 scenario, pops the Invisible Woman ults to counter the Rogue ulti. Nestes falling in the sub ulti though, 2 Groot Walls putting out too much damage, and even though the Emerald comes down, Invis does go down. However, the Groot ulti should be too much, no sub ulti on the field, and that is a winning fight for the Japanese team. Maybe didn't need to invest in C&D ulti. However, going into the next fight with Mantis ult, Invis ult both up, as well as Phoenix ulti on the Japanese team, while ClydesDungeon only have Strange ulti and Phoenix ult, and an upcoming C&D ults to match. So it is 3-for-3, but we do have 2 sub ults to their 1. However, Phoenix absolutely picked, stepped up too far. The teleport comes down onto point. Can they pick anyone on the front line? It looks like Phoenix nearly goes down, has CC ults to play her life. Invis ult match comes down, as well as a C&D ults to make sure no one can die for the next 12-ish seconds. Strange ult comes down. Can it kill through the sub ults? It looks like it should be able to. No one hitting the C&D, however. Mantis ult match comes down, trying to save everyone's life. However, C&D does fall. Currently, Rogue beating down ClydesDungeon's backline. Will it be enough to get a kill? Yes! 2 end up falling. Invisible Woman dying, or Invisible Woman just dying towards the Rogue, and the Phoenix ends up finding C&D. Is it a winning fight, however, for the Japanese team? Even though the enemy team have no supports, they only have a Mantis currently live, and then a C&D. It should just be hard winning. No teleport from ClydesDungeon. First point going over to our Japanese team. Very, very close game. I do feel that Split is not finding nearly enough value in this game currently, this current point. Strange putting in all of the work, and then Phoenix being that solid DPS. Let's see how they mix it up for game 2. Currently, this Rogue also putting out insane amounts of pressure. 9 final blows, 17-1. I wasn't expecting this from the Rogue going into this game, but she is putting in work. I suppose that Rogue Groot is actually doing a really good job, the Groot dividing up the battlefield, and Rogue just finding her little 1v1s near the walls. Because whenever you hit someone, even if the wall isn't specifically placed to cut off heals and to kill them, if they're just near a Groot wall, it'll hit them and do damage. So especially since Rogue can kidnap people and take them over like she wants in this small little area, she could drag them to Groot walls, which kind of gives her one shot way more credibility even without the gamer team up. Split opting for a Moon Knight, swapping their Phoenix onto a triple sub comp? No, wait, are they playing goats? What's going on here from Split's team? No teleport being played, it is on cooldown. They're playing goats. The fuck? Putting one DPS player onto Mantis, or onto a support with a Mantis 3 sub comp, and then Thor being played. Interesting. I suppose this isn't a bad intro in of itself to 3 subs, since your health bars are just beefier, so you will charge support ults a little bit better, I'd imagine, and your DPS doesn't really suffer with Thor's offensive capabilities. So let's see how it does end up playing out. Split on the floor, not really playing for a kidnap right now. Actually can't kidnap the Grim. Strange ult comes down, looks like it completely missed. Doesn't find any value, but he doesn't die as well. The Emerald comes through towards 4 with a ranged DPS. Only 1 ends up falling though with a hit scan. I think the entire team could have died, except no, it's enough. 3 end up going down, 4 on the backside. The Emerald catching the entire team. I suppose those Mantis shots are putting in absolute work as well with the damage amp. First fight goes over to ClydesDungeon, only needing to invest 2 ults, and with the Japanese team not even getting a chance to drop one of their sub ultis, I suppose getting caught off guard by the Emerald. let's see how the game's up going. Strange ult already at 50% with the Mantis damage amp. His kill threat through support ult becomes way larger, although the Groot ult is up on the enemy side. Let's see. Big wall to the side prevents him from getting CC'd. Yellow wall on the front. Sup, or see the ult all the way forward to try to take some space. Groot ult coming down soon, I'd imagine. No, he's not going to ult to try to kill through the Mantis ult, except Mantis does end up falling on the side of our Japanese team, so they do have a numbers advantage. ClydesDungeon are confessing the Mantis ulti. Phoenix style Groot ult combo comes down, but only hits Emma. Solar ult onto the backline, completely misses with the final ticks, but it did split the enemy team enough to secure the fight win. Two most important things there were the Mantis dying on the side of the Japanese team during their sub ulti, the sub ulti of ClydesDungeon, basically meaning that it's a 5v6 fight, and if they do trade sub ults consistently, the Japanese team are at a huge disadvantage. And the second one, the Groot ult completely missed. It only found Emma, and the Phoenix ult combo, to kill with the Groot ulti, you really do need to hit at least 3 players so the Phoenix charges can proc each other and explode AoE on everybody. So we're bullying Groot right now, however he does his big wall down, except it's the C&D going down on the side of the Japanese side. Mantis finding the pick, free hitting onto the high ground, also finding the enemy Mantis. I know he said he swapped onto a triple sub, but this guy is absolutely lethal with the Mantis DPS, and Emerald's coming through to help stagger the rest of our Japanese team. And this Mantis, 4K actually coming through, absolutely lethal. Teleport might not even come out in time with the Mantis sleep. Our ClydesDungeon Aussie team pushing up all the way to the spawn, and Mantis trying to run to the spawn, getting double shots. One headshot, one body shot from the Mantis, doesn't even get the touch off in time. And I have a feeling that we also counter TP'd with standard, I'm assuming standard bum, but the name's kind of cut off there. The ace going over to bloody Emma Frost on the side of ClydesDungeon, and the Emma Frost on the side of our Japanese team. Actually getting off of the rogue onto Emma Frost, not wanting to deal with that 3 tank comp, and yes, the counter TP was used by standard bum. Is he playing with packet loss? Surely not. Normally when you're playing on high ping, like, packet loss is horrendous. If this is consistently high packet loss, then ClydesDungeon are at a huge disadvantage for this fight. For those who don't know, packet loss is basically just a percentage of all of your inputs. Like, if I were to hold W, they just never reach the server, they're lost to the void. So, for example, I could try to basic attack, like left click on Strange, except the left click doesn't go off, but it goes off on my side, but it buffers back. It gets really, really weird. Yeah, packet loss is like the worst thing in the world to play with. If this guy's got consistently high packet loss like this for the entire game, I am very, very worried. Okay, looks like it's dropped back down. Oh, I'm worried. Alright, I'm not going to focus on that too much. No packet loss on the side of our Japanese team. It's a very uncommon, heavily laggy occurrence. Alright, our Japanese team swapping on to 2-2-2 now. Phoenix, Moon Knight to swap to counter this 3-tank comp, this 3-3 comp, as well as a Thing, very, very powerful into the tanks. Mantis ult coming down, forced out by the Thing, punching onto the Strange, through ult, buffed by the movement speed onto the backline, seeing the iframes as well as an invisible ult, keeping our Japanese team up. Strange ult, does it find 3? It does! No, seeing the iframes, we end up killing Phoenix through, and seeing the getting caught off on the backside. Invisible ult match coming through from ClydesDungeon. It should be a heavy winning fight, even with Moon Knight on points. Very well played. You force the Mantis ulti, which, even though it is a defensive ult, it has very, very strong offensive properties. You can't actually really kill through a Mantis ult very easily due to the overhealth it gives at the start and the movement speed comboed with a Thor ulti. It forces out the seeing the iframes, and that all sets up for a Strange ult on the clumping Japanese team inside their support ulti. Both teams kind of just burger boxing on the front line here. ClydesDungeon sticking to their goats comp, and our Japanese team not making any shifts. Thor trying to bully out the Groot on front. However, we have all of the ults coming down. Luna dying through the sub ulti. Actually running Luna over C&D in this 3-sub comp, but with the Phoenix ult coming down, it is enough to kill. And it should just be a wipe for the Japanese team. ClydesDungeon having no support ults, trying to hold off this push. Very, very important kill there coming through from our Japanese team. I wonder how that happens though, because normally you want to hold damage on stuff like the Lunar ults to get a Phoenix ult to one-shot through a support ulti. I suppose there were just too many players clumped in on that one spot, or maybe they had their Phoenix and their Moon Knight throw a bunch of damage onto the Luna right when the Phoenix ult landed. Or the Phoenix, obviously. Alright, Thing ult onto the front line, catches 2 subs in the back line. Walls obviously blocking off all healing on the Strange, except bloody Moon Knight does end up falling on the side, so it is a 1-for-1 trade. 5 versus 5 fight. Tank for DPS. Throw ult onto the fight along with a Mantis ult and an Ember ulti does wipe the support of our Japanese team. Very, very nasty combo there. Actually, the Thor Mantis ult obviously sending a Thor onto the backline for insane amounts of damage, especially if you consider the fact that he's damage amped, making that ulti even more lethal, as well as the Emerald to deny basically any sub ulti from coming out. So if they don't instantly invis ulti, they die. But if they instantly invis ulti, then we've got a damage amped Thor ult as well as a Mantis headshotting them. So when the Thor ult comes down and stuns them, they're probably going to die through the sub ult anyway. So those 3 ults allowing for an instant retake. Groot not quite falling up on the front line. The big wall's stopping a lot of heals coming through. We don't have like huge Groot wall breaking. Aggressive invis ult coming through from Ness. Oh, the Groot Moonlight ult combo should just wipe them. These kind of invisible ultis are very, very good. However, it's very, very risky to double jump in there yourself and play the ulti like that. I totally understand wanting to hold space, especially with the Invis ult. It's not a bad play in of itself. However, when the enemy are running Groot Moon Knight, a combo, like even Thing Moon Knight, that will kill through sub ultis, you need to be very, very careful double jumping forwards. I know a lot of subs in these kind of plays, or these kind of games, will just sub ult forwards and then play their life. Thing ult onto the front, will it find Strange? No, does not. Phoenix ult ends up finding two split plays, both of them chunked out by the Thing ulti, and all of the damage that comes out behind it. And the Phoenix ult is enough to secure this this fight for our Japanese team. Currently taking the lead in percentage. ClydesDungeon do have a large amount of ultimates for their retake. However, they should be very, very wary of the Groot Thing ults coming up. Are we playing TP? No, we're not. ClydesDungeon opting to play again through main. Let's see how they counteract this the Groot Moon Knight ult combo that they will end up using to try to kill through these sub ultis. Mantis ult and a Thor ult combo coming through onto the side of ClydesDungeon. A match comes through on the other side, and the Strange ult ends up fully missing. I'm assuming iframed. Moon Knight ult comes down without a Groot ult, enduring like inside the Invis ult. Only finds splits Thor. Matches down from both sides. The damage amp ready and available for the side of ClydesDungeon, but they don't end up utilizing. Do they have any sub ults ready? They do not. Groot ult comes down, and it is a full wipe. The Invis ult not up in time to save ClydesDungeon, and that is map 1 going over to our Japanese team. Very well played. Before we move on to the next point, I have a couple things I want to highlight over this game. Let's see if I can find them in a reasonable time. I'm very, very slow. All right. Let's see. This is the first one. This is the Strange ulti, I'm pretty sure, coming through from standard bump. Let's see. He just jumps over. Really nice angle. Did they have invis boop? Did they have seen the iframes? Seeing the iframes was up. It does actually show above her hotbar if it's on cooldown. So she could have swapped here, as well as Invisible and Boop. Currently playing... No, this is the wrong team, actually. So, actually, I'm just wrong. Seeing the iframes, let's see if they're up. A controller player, Invisible one, actually. Oh, seeing the... Let's see. She's playing up. What? She didn't even try to swap. Oh, come on. Come on, our Japanese team. I know you ended up taking the win in the first place, but when you have all of these resources, it looks like Boop was on cooldown. 3, 2, 1. No self-shield? Who did you shield? What were you shielding? It's up! You shielded your Groot? Oh my god. A half HP Groot on the front line needs the shield more than the supports. Nah, that's gross. And actually, let me see if Mantis even attempted to sleep the Strange there. I'm curious. Because it's up. She's currently missing shots from Phoenix. Didn't even press the button. Come on. Come on, guys. We didn't need that first game to be, or that first point to be thrown away like that. Alright, second thing I wanted to see. Look-see. I think it was like a Strange ulti here. No, this is a different point. Actually, I want to see the, because it's an Emerald here, right? What happened to the sub-ulti match over on this side of our Japanese team? No, we're up. Actually, none were up. The Emeralds catching the entirety of the Japanese team when they had no sub-ulti. The CND ult getting very, very close, but by the time it's come up, they've already lost 2 plays. So if they did end up investing here, there would be a major disadvantage going forwards. So they just end up calling to kite out and reset. Along with ClydesDungeon just absolutely steamrolling this game. However, the final little moment I want to look for and look-see is... I'm pretty sure it's one of our final fights here. I have like the memory of a goldfish. I should really set up like a macro that shows the timestamps of when I should skip through. Was it this fight? No, actually no, it was when they killed through the Luna ulti, like right here, I'm pretty sure, with Phoenix, right? It's very early on this map, I swear. I feel like it's already happened. Alright, let's see. Luna, Snow ulti up, playing frontline, misses all of the claps, that's perfectly fine. let's see. So she gets poked down a little bit by the Phoenix Moon Knight. Phoenix ult comes down and she's like, I don't want to die to the Phoenix ulti. I'm going to use my Luna ult. Stacks on top of 3 players who, let's see if they have stacks. Currently, they have no stacks right now from Phoenix. Actually, no, Luna has 2. So this is the important part. Luna having 2 stacks will explode, chain explosions, instantly dying to the Phoenix ulti. I have a feeling that Luna was going to die regardless of how many players were around her, purely due to the amount of stacks on her. I'm pretty sure it just gives a kill through, especially, I mean, there was no Mantis damage amp there, so that wasn't in the equation. I suppose Moon Knight was probably pumping damage, but with how fast she died. Oh, wait, a chain headshot actually might have been the finishing, like the final blow, which secures it. Right when the Phoenix ult lands, Moon Knight lands a chain headshot with his left click. Yeah, that'll guarantee the kill through. So Luna dying through completely guarantees the fight win for our Japanese team. And this really is what sets off the tempo loss for ClydesDungeon, actually. Because they end up losing point at around 40% when they easily could have carried that through to 60% if they had just chained sub-ultis and played their fight. Especially with the damage up coming through from Luna through a Thor ult and a Strange ulti. Right. Good game overall. Let's jump into game 2. It's so nice not having to watch these live, because then I'm waiting like 15 minutes in between each game. It's an absolute scam. Alright, I really do hope we'll see Split's Blade come through though. Maybe we'll see a group ban if that is that big of a problem. But the anti-heal, he's like, he came into our call the other day, like right before this game here, glazing Blade, saying we should get on the Blade trade. I do remember actually talking to Split about playing Blade when he was playing for our team, like season 3 or something, season 4.5 maybe. And I still believe it's decent. I still believe it has value. I suppose Split kind of carrying forwards that mentality. He has found value in the Blade Flick, which I'm very happy with, actually. I think this character is a bit underrated, sorry. Even if they did nerf his gun damage and his sword damage, which should both be buffed up. Please, we haven't actually seen Blade be in a strong spot ever, like since its release. I wouldn't mind Blade accidentally getting overbuffed into a banned state, and then we can nerf him back. Alright, let's see the bans. Iron Fist target ban coming through from our Japanese team, along with a Hella ban, Groot save, and Rogue save. But these tanks being their bread and butter, apparently, going forwards, as we saw in that first map first map, first point? No, first point, first map. It's weird, because they're technically different maps in the map. That's weird. Over on ClydesDungeon, we have the Gambit ban, their bread and butter, apparently. Phoenix save, as well as a Moon Knight ban and Emma save. Alright, that Emma Frost apparently being crucial for them when countering the Rogue and the Groot. Final ban being Mantis. Don't want to deal with that triple sub. Don't want to deal with that Groot team up. Fair enough. I hate it so much. Triple sup is not fun to play versus, like, when it's like Adam Mantis, it's like tolerable, but when it's 2 main subs and then a Mantis, it's just boring, man. It's like you've got a bodyguard for those 2 subs group. Oh, sorry, Loki ban coming through. I suppose that's why our Japanese team weren't playing it before. They don't have the Loki player. That's why they banned it. That's what my team ended up doing for the tournament. We open banned Loki pretty much every game, understanding that that was the difference maker between us and just about any other team that would play it, right? Loki, in my opinion, the strongest support right now. Not only can he copy just about any like OP sub-ults, he can, he has the highest healing output and damage output out of any support, just raw numbers wise, and a good Loki player will just be super oppressive when it comes to that. We have ClydesDungeon running, I think the bread and butter from last game, just Cindy Invis, the staple backline when Loki is out currently, and a 2 sub cop. The Strange Emma, again with their immense frontline presence, and then the Blade Phoenix. They're not making any comp changes, instead opting for a slightly different round of bans. Wait, are you telling me ClydesDungeon banned the Iron Fist? Surely not. Wait, that can't be the case. Wait, why? Is it because the blue team banned up the red team, which is why it's over there? It's pretty weird because the bans are on both sides. I'm just going to assume that ClydesDungeon didn't ban Iron Fist. Alright, there's no way they banned Split's Iron Fist. That does not make sense. The Japanese team opting again for their bread and butter. No triple subs, so they're getting their Mantis player over onto Bucky, I'd imagine. Yeah. But outside of that, the comps are fairly identical. This time we're over on to Asgard. It's not... I don't even know the map name. I'm not even going to try to pronounce the map. It's like Yggdrasil. I did try in the end. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's the bush map. The Yggdrasil bush map. Asgard bush map. I don't even know. Alright. Split currently opening up into the blade. Let's see how he does. Currently just shooting down main, applying pressure with his shotgun, trying to bully out the group. I reckon as soon as we see that big wall getting broken, actually finding the rogue on the high ground, pushing her out. As soon as that big wall is down, we're going to see Split anti-healing this group and bullying him, I'd imagine. But right now, currently not even hitting a super large amount of shots. Comes back to try to peel the rogue. Misses the anti-heal, but does end up bullying her out with sword. Nice headshot coming through. The anti-heal getting blocked off by the group wall. Currently, a strong neutral game being shown from... Actually, does the group fall? Very close. Both of them dropping low HP. The parry coming out. Ender Strange finishes off the kill onto the group. We have numbers. Actually, no. 5v5 fight coming through from both sides. The Blade and the Groot trading each other out. Even though it looks like both of them are going to live, it looks like the Phoenix and the Strange respectively trading out kills. Strange up finds 2. Can he kill through? Yes! 2 kills coming through the Invisible Woman ulti. Seeing the not found inside the sub ulti, and Strange utilizing that auto E combo to kill 275 HP through the sub ulti. Phoenix ult comes down to zone space, and it is a winning fight for ClydesDungeon. This Strange, standard bomb Strange, absolutely lethal when it comes towards this gameplay. He's not even Strange on the character. Who is this guy? An ult account? Is this Shaz's ult? Oh my god. Alright, teleport come through. Bucky ult comes down, even with an Invisible Man ult match though. Looks no one die through. The Phoenix ult does it, finds kills. No! The Bucky ult timing out in time. The Rogue ult does come down though to deny any upcoming sub ultis. Let's see. 3 have fallen though on the side of the Japanese team. It looks like it should be winning for our ClydesDungeon. And currently I haven't seen the Blade do a whole lot. Maybe in the last fight his sword actually put in work and I just didn't see it. But to be fair, I do respect the 1-for-1 trade that ended up going out with the Groot's Blade. The only reason, realistically, why the Groot fell was the anti-heal from Blade, even if he did end up falling to the Phoenix on high ground. We're just going to blame supports, actually. Ness, I've seen you in my ranked games. You definitely have entered lots of them and haven't been one of the best supports I have played with, right? How dare you not heal Split? Alright, support coming through on the side of a Japanese team. CMD ulting forwards just for all of this space. Late match coming down from ClydesDungeon. Very important when it comes to playing it. Blade ult combo coming through with the Strange ult. Should just kill, yeah, just executes through. Super easy. I would have liked to see the Blade ult come out just a tad bit sooner, because you did see the Strange ult land and Blade was still charging his ulti for a little bit. However, yeah, Blade ult to kill through sub ultis. I suppose this is kind of their theory with the comp. You can combo a Blade ult with an Emerald with a Strange ulti. It'll just kill through, right, as long as they are stuck inside of it. I'm surprised to see them Emeraldy there, actually. And Phoenix ult. I feel like that's an overcommittal of ultimates by ClydesDungeon. Double dashing forwards from Split. Finds the entirety of the enemy team with Portal Block actually coming off. So the retake from the Japanese team coming from the correct angle. Split currently brawling 6 players in their backline. Does end up falling inside the Invisible Man ulti. 1-for-1 trade, however, with the Magneto dying. Both subs sitting inside their Invisible Man ultis. Let's see how it's playing out. No touch from... no, touch from our ClydesDungeon. Phoenix ult onto 2. And defending 3! And that is our ult economy disadvantage coming through from ClydesDungeon. Overcommitting. They didn't need to invest the Phoenix ult and the Emeraldy when they all were already comboing the Strange ult, Blade ulti to kill through. So now when it came to the retake, even though they portal blocked, the blue team still had a way through, and they ended up utilizing their Phoenix ult. Yes, their Bucky ult. I'm pretty sure they used Bucky ult there. Maybe I'm wrong. But they utilized their ult economy advantage to take the point to kill through that Invisible multi. Rogue diving and getting grabbed by him. It does make it out. Let's see, can Split find value on the Blade? Actually, our eyes will be on the Strange. His ultimate is up. He is kidnapped. Eon cooldown. Does he live? No, he gets picked. An insane pick coming through. 1-for-1 though. Trading out the Magneto on the other side. Rogue ulting to the backline, forcing back both of the subs. Ends up killing one before she goes down. Does she go down? Split dying in the front, obviously to the lack of supports, but the Rogue taking way too much space, denying all of the heals from ever saving the front line of ClydesDungeon. Let's see how we go in the next upcoming fight. Ult-wise, Split ends up using his ult to try to make a hero play, so he does not have that to combo, the Blade ulti to combo with the Strange ulti. However, I don't think he'll need it, actually. The Strange ult's being very, very good, consistently killing through against this Japanese team. Let's see how it plays. If he's just going to send it, or if he's going to play to kill through a support ulti, potentially. Rogue sitting up on that high ground, making the ClydesDungeon team turn around. CMD ult comes down from both sides. Strange currently flying up, not really opting for anything. 2 fall on the side of ClydesDungeon, even though they invest the Emeraldy. Will they just wipe? It looks like they will, losing 1 sup and 1 DPS. You don't have a sup ult to chain into. You don't have a DPS to help kill through the sup ultis. How did that end up happening? Because both sides were sup ulting. I'm genuinely curious. We'll come back to this point hopefully later. I really need to write down the numbers. Because I don't want to rewind it right away, right? I'm hurting all the tempo of the VOD. But at the same time, that's such an interesting fight to rewatch and see how it happens. Currently splits ult nearly back up again. The ult charge speed of the Blade, potentially why he thinks it's so strong. Charging far faster than quite a few other ults, actually. Especially those sub-ult mixes. Alright, let's see how it goes. The Strange Shield actually quite low. Split finding a pick onto the Bucky. Strange Shield, 100 charge. Blade just sending it into their backline with the E, using Lifesteal. Just kills another tank. This Blade finding a max value. Strange kills 2 inside the sub ulti, and it's just too easy. The Phoenix ult, again, overcommitted. However, I do think it's good to combo the Phoenix ult with the Strange ult just to guarantee you killing through the sub ultis, right? Especially when you're not already comboing the Blade ulti. Split, however, I didn't know your game. Hopefully we'll get a chance to rewatch this whole sequence here before you capture this point. So I can see if it was just luck that you ended up killing Bucky, or if it was carefully placed Blade gunshots headshotting him for half his health bar, because you can do a fuck ton of damage with the Blade headshots. I'm pretty sure more than most poke characters can in a single shot. The issue being, I never see Blade players hit the shot because it's so damn hard. You need to be at the perfect range. You need to predict the shot, kind of because it's a projectile, right? It's not easy. Rogue diving in on the front line, currently just brawling up with the ult charge. Magma will help peel her out. Bucky hook is good. Blade parrying the punch onto the backside. It looks like he will die. Trying to shift out. No, he does end up getting up. Currently a stalemate on both sides. Rogue sending it into the back line. Catches the entire team with the Phoenix ult, finding 2! And it should just be a 1-5. That Rogue Phoenix ult combo, very, very powerful. Pulling the entirety of ClydesDungeon together, clumping them up. They couldn't use any sub ultis because of that Rogue ulti. And the Phoenix ult, again, when plays are clumped up, it is lethal. And even if it didn't find the picks, the entirety of ClydesDungeon being low HP with the Rogue ulti, preventing them from using sub ults, the follow-up, the inevitable follow-up, even with a Bucky ulti, would guarantee a team wipe. Japanese team, obviously very, very comfortable with this comp. Seeing the ult comes through from the defensive side, match instantly coming out from Nexus' ult. Will the Magneto find Ness? It is fed a good amount, and it does fall. And the Bucky ult combo coming through to guarantee that the kill goes down. It should just be a hard winning fight for our Japanese team. Obviously, running C&D into a Magneto when you don't have a Magneto on your team makes it very, very difficult. You either need good terrain nearby so that you can hide behind, or a Magneto of your own, basically bubble you. The Strange Shield is nice, but it is very hard to play around relative to the Magneto, right? And yeah, I wonder if it was Blade splits shooting that mag ulti, getting the guaranteed kill through the Japanese team. Blade ult comes down, will he find value? Support match comes down, Emeraldy and Strange ulti all into the mosh pit. Does anyone fall? 1 goes down, only 1 goes down. Invisible player 1. 2. Alright, Invisible Woman does end up dying through her self ulti. She was 1 HP for a solid 3 seconds there, with the Emma and the Strange beating down on her in her sub ulti. Very, very close, but it does end up being ClydesDungeon who comes out on top. Only with the Phoenix ult going into next fight. How the Blade ulti is very, very high percent, very, very close to his next ulti relative to the rest of the team. Our Japanese team not really having any ults to retake with. They're close to the Phoenix Rogue ulti combo, except it is Phoenix on ClydesDungeon on the high ground. That does end up falling overextended. Rogue dives in, doesn't end up getting picked though. Blade 75% of the ulti, currently looking to brawl on point, but also not looking to overextend. The Emma though, on the side of ClydesDungeon, does end up falling. Phoenix ult onto point, can Blade clutch it up? We are currently down 3. Blade 1 HP on point, no. His subs got forced way too far back. The Rogue ulti denies any chance of their sub ultis being up, as well as the Bucky ult to win the point. ClydesDungeon with a solid push overall. However, they didn't quite get the card into that that Lord room, I suppose, I would call it, of our Japanese team. Let's see how it goes. Now, it is a best of 3 series, so I do have a feeling that ClydesDungeon will be coming out on top here. However, who knows? Maybe it will be a stomp, maybe it will be through the skin of their teeth. Split opting to keep running that Blade, even though he clearly hasn't played it enough in solo queue to get Lord on it. Split the Iron Fist Merchant. Where's the Lord Blade, bro? Come on, run it more. We got a grand solo queue. Our Japanese team opting for their same bread and butter comp. They did end up swapping off of Groot onto the Magneto at the end of the last, I think for the 3rd point there, they were on it. Or even actually, second point, late second point, they made the swap. Whereas ClydesDungeon, we have them, yeah, sticking to their bread and butter. Both teams, they know what they play, they know what they want. They're gonna run it. Sounds good, let's see how it goes.
Get ready.
I feel like I skipped a huge amount of time there, but there's still 8 seconds left, that's crazy. Alright, let's see how they end up playing. Split, pre-holding in sword form. Definitely wants to get it there in their own board, but unfortunately Blade has to spend such a large amount of time in neutral form and gun form. Actually, you have to do the same amount of things, or the same general thing on DPS pool. You're just shooting your gun basically with Ultra the walls, though, providing very lethal. Not finding any picks though, and Rogue dies on the front line, trying to pull people in front of that wall. However, the support was not strong enough to help kill through. Or help deny ClydesDungeon from finding their kills. Blade though, not actually applying the anti-heal. I am still yet to see the proper value coming out. He was just gunning and he was just taking damage, right? Let's see. It might be a bit harder to tell what's going on watching Split's perspective, because the Blade is very much in there, especially with brute walls behind. However, it is Phoenix on the side of ClydesDungeon dying to Bucky. Very nice pick coming through Rogue, sending it in there, seeing the iframes, helping her team peel out, and the invis is low but doesn't end up falling. Japanese team pushing forwards, looking to bully out Strange, nearly falls the grit wall, was enough, as well as the CD blind to help find the kill. They do have the option to TP back as long as ClydesDungeon don't stagger super bad hit. So if they hit, they need to play their life, and they can't get picked. Emma stepping up way too far when the grit walls are here, except the CD does help forwards to help them touch point. Very necessary. However, a late match coming through from our Japanese team could be needed. Invisible Woman ult is up, but she loses Groot. And an insanely strong ulti. They lose their combo of Groot Phoenix to kill through the sub ultis. Emma Frost pulled into the sub ulti, however, she's not going to go down. An aggressive CMD ult comes down onto the side of our Japanese team. However, the match is ready for our ClydesDungeon. Phoenix ult comes down. Can they kill through with the pull? No, two end up falling. The Blade ult combo along with the pull from Rogue and the Phoenix ulti kills the entirety of ClydesDungeon through their sub ulti, opting for a very quick cap from our Japanese team. Very well played. This clearly is their bread and butter. You get the Rogue in there, her shift pulling the entirety of the enemy team together. The Bucky ult, the Phoenix ulti proving lethal. Split getting forced off of the Blade onto the Bucky, sitting here for a little bit, regrouping with the team. Obviously deciding that this Bucky ult to help kill through with the Phoenix ulti is necessary. Even the neutral game too strong, the Blade not quite valuable enough. Our Japanese team pushed up, Rogue absolutely sending it with the Rogue ulti. Does she die? No, it wasn't a Rogue, it was an Emerald ulti right when Rogue decided to go in, completely isolating the Rogue and finding the pick. Now, can our Japanese team hold space? It looks like the answer is no. Groot, I didn't even see him fall. Did he fall? No, he kind of that. It was Bucky going down on the front line. Groot running way faster than I thought Groot could, and the Bucky proving lethal, denying the Groot value. Maybe it's for the Groot walls, actually. Maybe it's not the ult value. Split was actually putting in work with those Blade ultis, but the Bucky's so much better at just peppering down a Groot wall. Good picks coming through. The Emerald the only ult being invested to win that fight. Actually, Phoenix ult looking like it was also used. And that's very good for ClydesDungeon. Taking space. The hook comes through onto Rogue. Does she move? Yes. And no, she doesn't actually. The healing not quite enough. All of that damage pushed into 3-4 players. Clumping together for the Invis E, the Phoenix, the Bucky. Very bad idea. Actually, I do have a Rogue player, Alex. He is permanently complaining about Bucky whenever he plays that character. He wants it banned every single game. Half the reason being your right click, the thing that you use on Rogue to block damage, it magnetizes the hook. It pulls it towards you. A sub ult's coming down from both sides, seeing the ultis. Both teams currently just playing side, no kills through. The Phoenix ult goes up. An early match comes down from our Japanese team, bit of a mistake. Late match comes down on the side of ClydesDungeon. The Rogue ult's not finding value to deny that ulti. Bucky ult comes down from our Japanese team, picks one. Can he find a second? Phoenix ult comes down deep onto 3! The Bucky ult, Phoenix ult combos. Phoenix ult dropping everybody to 1 HP. And the Bucky ult, that's the execute range, right? Is it 20%? I'm pretty sure around that mark. The Phoenix ult Bucky ult, they need to be able to shoot out that Phoenix ulti, or they need to spread to not give the Phoenix ult value in killing 4 players. The matches for the Invisible Woman ulti came through, but the enemy didn't even need to use their Groot ulti. The Groot ult being up and ready. How will ClydesDungeon end up retaking? They're not currently teleport, trying to force their way through main, through the walls, through the Groot ult. The walls aren't actually up though. Groot ult completely wedges, blocked by the Invisible Woman shield. Strange ulti also iframed by seeing the looks like, but it doesn't matter. Both DPS picked by the Bucky by the raw amounts of damage going down onto point. Can he find the picks on the subs? It doesn't even matter. Both tanks are isolated onto points. Bucky is zoning off both subs. Does he win the 1v2? No, he lives. Fair enough. Very important there. Even though the Strange ult, it looks like it missed. I'm pretty sure it missed. The E, along with the Bucky ulti, is enough to one-shot both subs onto point. The Groot ulti, not finding enough value, blocked by the Invisible Woman's shield. He panic-pressed it, seeing that the Emerald ult was down. He's like, oh shit, I'm not going to be able to ult this fight. I need to get something. But that something ended up being nothing. Bucky hook coming down onto the rogue, doesn't end up finding the punch kidnap, letting her just escape nice and easy. Through walls, rogue sending it into their back line, onto the front line. Does she end up dying? Not quite. The Stranger not having enough charge to kill, I'd imagine. I didn't actually check. Seeing the ult forwards aggressively to take space. The match is ready though on the side of ClydesDungeon. It does end up coming down. Punching out of support of the sub ulti. Does she end up falling? No, she was barely inside the range of the sub ulti there. Bucky going down, overextending, trying to force that kill. Rogue is in there, match, seeing the ult coming down from any team, as well as an invisible ulti. Let's see, do we get to see a C&D blind? It only catches 2, but she was outside of the sub ulti. C&D going down on the side of our Japanese team. Splits Bucky ult coming down to guarantee some kills. 50 seconds on the clock. Maybe a bit much there. Could have had that Bucky ult to combo with the Phoenix ulti for the next fight. However, it's always nice to guarantee that kind of fight. So it's not actually the end of the world. Our Japanese team, no sub ults up. They do have the Rogue, Phoenix, and Groot ultis up. All, though, all very, very powerful for clumping and nuking the side of ClydesDungeon. ClydesDungeon, the Invisible Woman ulti, is way closer than our Japanese team Invisible Woman ulti. She was probably peppering the enemy team during that scene ulti inside that Invisible Woman ult, not charging the enemy sub ulti, but still building her on very, very quickly. Early Emerald comes down to try to combo with the Phoenix ulti, and the Strange ult ends up isolating Groot, one-shot him, as well as Phoenix and Bucky. Full team wipe coming down to the side of our Japanese team. The Rogue ult, not enough. She's not even dying on point. Die on point, die on point, touch the point. Unfortunate. No teleport, not even an angle to TP. ClydesDungeon coming out 2-1, holding that second point. Very, very close though. Our Japanese team were very, very close to capping and standing a better chance at winning that second game. However, let's see how it ends up going. Very well played. I wasn't really holding tab. I don't hold tab nearly as much as I should be for these series for some reason. I don't know why. In game, I'm spam pressing tab to see if I have that funny little ace tag. Am I allowed to press tab while I'm here, or do I need to go back in time? Let me press tab. Oh, yeah, I need to go back in time. That's so cringe. Alright, we're going to miss some kills, but here's your final tab scores. 37 and 8 for the Japanese team Phoenix, and 38 and 7 for our ClydesDungeon Phoenix. Very, very high KDs here for both teams. A very lethal game. 12, 12, 12, and 12 for ClydesDungeon. The magic number of the day is evidentially. Evidentially? Is that a word? We've got eventually, which is completely wrong. We've got evidently. It's evidently, not evidentially. What the fuck? Broken English, my first language, of course. That just makes me qualified to be a caster, no? If I'm just constantly flubbing my words. Alright, final game. Game 3, 9 minutes long. Domination being selected by our Japanese team. Because they did, in fact, end up winning first round on Domination. I don't know, Domination in Marvel Rivals, it's my least favorite game mode. I don't dislike it per se, but I feel like the push and the convergence maps are just more interesting. They have more of a storyline. You get those overtime 3-3, even 6-6 caps. Whereas in Domination, it's all decided by that third point. Even though, to be fair, Domination, we can have both teams sitting at 0%, still just burger boxing over that bloody point for extended periods of times. ClydesDungeon taking away the Gambit, and the Groot not wanting to deal with that, forcing Split to swap off of Blade. I know he wants to run it. He was glazing it earlier. Let's see. The Blade was banned! What? Target banning Blade, Iron Fist and Blade. Target banning Split. ClydesDungeon, what are we doing? Nes team captain over on our blue team. Why are we not saving the Blade? No one cares about the Hela. I know the enemy team are banning Hela. Well, fuck you, we need Split's Blade in here. Will the third Blade be Daredevil? Because I know that is Split's third and final trick. He's not really like a 3-trick anymore. He's been experimenting in scrims, evidentially. Breaking out of that stigma, but come on. All right, let's see. Split hovering through the D-Day. Show it to me. He was wrecking havoc with this character launch. The Hela Emma saves coming through onto the side of ClydesDungeon. Not actually playing the Hela, running for the dive, the Psylocke on Osagiri. Osagiri? Oh, what? Osaragi! Fuck, I was close with the heavy Japanese accent there. It's fucking Japanese, it has to be. Our Japanese team opting for the Namor ban. Also running... Why are they banning Namor if they're not running dive? I'm confused. I guess they want to deny the Hela Namor team up. They think it's too strong. Opting for the Moon Knight Phoenix. No Bucky here. No combo with the Groot for the Moon Knight. I'm a bit interested to see this Moon Knight pick here. The biggest issue I see with our Japanese comp right here, Phoenix, Moon Knight, they're going to charge sub-ults in 2 seconds. For this first fight, I would not be surprised, especially with ClydesDungeon not fully running comp, dive with no dive tanks and our Psylocke hopping back onto the Hela. But they're not going to charge sub-ults nearly as quickly as the Groot Phoenix. If they just send the ult onto point, you're going to have an easy first cap. And if you can play the tempo game from there onwards, I'm very, very worried for our Japanese team if they do keep on running these heavy DPS picks with no consistent combos. Because, I mean, obviously the Moon Knight ult is strong, but without a Groot ult combo, you're kind of relying on a shift, a pull coming in from the rogue. Let's see how it ends up playing out. Split, obviously, on that Daredevil. 100 ping on my OS team, and then obviously about 100 ping on the Japanese team. Even game. Do we still have packet loss? No, it looks to have been sorted out on standard bum. Again, I don't actually... Standard bum sesh? Okay, that's... Yeah, I was like, maybe his name isn't that bad, and he's just getting screwed over by the character limit? No. It gets worse. Alrighty, we have Split kind of posturing up on the high ground. Both teams kind of playing neutral. Rogue goes in deep, does not end up finding a pick, forces the bird, Invisible and barely living. Split currently playing neutral on the side, bullying out the Moon Knight. Both tanks currently fist fighting in the middle. Does anyone end up falling? Yes, the Phoenix on our Japanese team does end up going down. Good cloak bind onto the tanks, forces them back. We're up numbers now, 6 vs 5 for ClydesDungeon, and Magneto unable to touch points, currently down. A player not getting the healing he needs. Too much pressure coming out on the side of ClydesDungeon with the Emma and the Doctor Strange. Split not putting in too much work here, however, just simply living and being like an issue on a dive DPS can be so strong. Like, I absolutely hate how strong Daredevil is compared to the rest of the dive characters. Buff Psylocke, man. I'm saying it right now. Buff Psylocke. That what's the word? Fall off. Nearly finding Moon Knight. The bubble comes down. Does he end up living the parry? Very, very strong. Buff Psylocke, that fall off buff was not good enough. That ulti nerf. I want it stronger. Currently Rogue in the backline. Does she end up falling Strange? Ah, it was slow. Strange ult. The backline fights 3! I'm sorry, I didn't actually have my hand on my mouse when the Strange ult came through, so I wasn't here. Fell up in time. It finds 4. I didn't even actually go and... Oh, GG. I raced so fast into the second series. I didn't even go and replay... Sorry, third series. I didn't go and replay the seconds. I gotta stop ADHDing, like, the games are right here for me. I'll review more if I have to wait, but right now, I've got this banger series all lined up for me. And to be fair, I still need to have breakfast, it's kind of 1:30. Yeah. Split overextending, getting caught by the Phoenix. Rogue going in there, clumping 3, but doesn't end up falling. Seeing the ults from both sides, first seeing the dash actually from Nesnes going into a rock. Both teams, Moon Knight comes down to C&D, she just iframes out of it, pretty chill. Rogue ult onto the Invisible Woman though, denying the second ulti. Phoenix ult onto the backline, does it end up finding kills? Yes. Nesnes going down, actually no, it wasn't Nesnes, it was ClydesDungeon. Mr. L975 running the Invisible Woman. Goes down, should just be a hard-winning fight for our Japanese team. Taking a pretty long time though to finish off these kills on the front, there we are, they don't end up falling. 90% capped from ClydesDungeon, a very, very solid opening. The Phoenix Rogue ult combo, while it is good to deny new sub ults and kill them once, it doesn't actually matter if the sub ult's back in another 10%, right? And your Rogue Phoenix ults aren't quite up yet. Much stronger when it's an important fight for capping a point in push. In domination, I do think it has a little bit less value depending on how it is used. Alright, here we have the opening. Strange ult is up for Sender Bump. I'll spectate you this time. I'll show one of your insane Strange ulties. Let's see how it goes. He's building charge, he's ready, he's looking. Strange ult comes down, finds 3! No, see, the iframe saves him for a portion of time. He can't melee to kill through the sub ulti due to the mag ult. Emerald coming down, doesn't end up finding any picks though. It is a 6 vs 6 sub ult lasting longer for ClydesDungeon, and Split though, picked on the side. Rogue kiting back to her team, playing her live. Let's see how ClydesDungeon play in the 5 vs 6 fight. They're actually getting a lot of space here, considering it's a 5 vs 6. Halibird being forced out on the side by the Moon Knight Unk. Let's see. Rogue currently beating down on, fucking, what's her name? Emma goes in deep, doesn't find the pick though. The Moon Knight not following fast enough, potentially, or the follow-up not being quite enough. On the Stranger onto the backline, already up again! Why does it charge so fast? It does end up getting pulled out this time and dying to a Moon Knight Halibird getting traded out by the Rogue. Currently a 5 vs 5, does Nessus go down? Yes! The Rogue already up again. The AoE damage being thrown out in these sub ultis, the tempo being gained by our Japanese team was far too much. Even though Standard Bomb had that Strange ulti up, just ripping a Strange ult with 6 players looking at you, eventually they will start to use their C and the iframes, their invisible when boops, their stuns on the Phoenix, which probably won't hit to be honest. but all of these resources can stop a Strange ulti. I'm, to be honest, more flabbergasted that he landed the 4-man Strange ultis that he did earlier in these series to win these fights. Alright, let's see how we go going into the final fight. 90% on both teams. Not quite final fight if teleports come through. Support coming through on the side of SNS. Match on the side of our Japanese team. Let's see, can we sell any kills through? Hella using her ult to survive, getting pushed out on the side by Rogue. 2 end up falling on the side of our Japanese team with the cloak blind being comboed with the Hella meteors. 2 people clumping up way too much, and it should just be a winning fight. The Strange TP, will it come through? It needs to be our Moon Knight swapping. It is our Moon Knight swapping. He's ready to swap. ClydesDungeon won't end up capping point quite in time. Split ending up getting staggered. A counter TP. It does come out. Strange ult to cancel the Strange TP. It's enough. No Strange TP on the side of our Japanese team. Standard bum. What the fuck was that? Normally when I see a counter TP, it's not me dropping a Strange ult onto the head of the enemy Strange, although I suppose it does work. Normally it's like you're trying to do fancy shit, TPing them off the map. But if you have the time, stunning the TP is far more consistent than pulling them off the map. Well played from Standard Bum. The hero play coming through to guarantee the fight win, especially with Split getting picked on the side of his Bucky. Swapping off of, what was he even playing earlier? Daredevil. Not finding enough value on the dive, getting bullied out by the Moon Knight, perhaps a little bit too much. Moon Knight, a very strong anti-dive character. Even if you have parry on the Daredevil, it's just like, oh, I'm going to take all my damage and get stunned. And I'm going to just like... It's too much, it's too easy. The Moon Knight doesn't even need a double DQ like a Hella would. He just fucking one-shots you with an Unk. With the CC at that. At range! Bullshit. Can we, like, remove Moon Knight having 2 right clicks? That's, like, the most bullshit thing ever. Giving him overhealth, a 275 character. He used to get countered by characters, but now he's just, like, immortal, I swear, half the time. Alright, team comps looking pretty much the same from both teams. The only swap being Split's Bucky coming through. Standard Bum no longer having that range ult to open up. Rogue actually pushing very far forwards in the middle, looking for an early dive, it looks like. Let's see how it goes. Postured up onto high ground, Strange forcing, taking space forwards. She does end up backing off just a little bit. Let's see, I want to see this stuff, I want to see this dive. Moon Knight, what are you doing? Are you caught? Alright, she's currently looking to brawl the tanks. Moon Knight does end up getting picked, Split finishing the kill. Caught completely off guard. I think the Invisible Woman grab being very, very good there to misposition him. 6 versus 5 in favor of ClydesDungeon. Can our Japanese team hold space on the point? It doesn't look like a huge Bucky hook on both tanks, both blinded. And they both end up falling. Our tanks, our Japanese team couldn't decide between either dying on point and kiting back for an earlier recontest. In the end, they end up getting the worst of both worlds. They end up losing point. Is this going to speed up my camera? Yes, I need camera speed 5. It still feels slow. I don't know why. Alright, currently our Japanese team looking to retake 20% on side of ClydesDungeon, brawling the front line with Rogue. Doesn't really find anything. Lots of damage though, taken by the tanks, much more than I would expect. Nearly ends up falling to the Emma grab, have the Mag Bubble, the Midnight Unk, all very, very good for keeping her alive. Split nearly falling on the side of ClydesDungeon on point. A Strange looking for a deep ulti. Doesn't end up using it though. He didn't have ult yet. Alright. Supports coming through from both sides. Our Invisible One and Phoenix end up falling on the side of ClydesDungeon, or not ClydesDungeon, our Japanese team. 2 end up going down, should just be 3. It's a very over fight once you've lost 2 people and support matches it down, because you just lose the tempo game, right? No, don't stagger him, unfortunate. What Strange shifted him deep like he had ulti, and I was expecting the ult, but he didn't have it. Did he fake out the enemy team as well? Were they panicking like, Strange ulting, but he only had 50? Because he does charge it so fast. Alright, Bucky ult, CMD ult both being used, and their ulti, all for ClydesDungeon, whereas our Japanese team only invested the CMD ulti. They do have Moon Knight ult ready to kill through. However, they don't really have anything to set it up with properly. Rogue, not really opting for a flank, just sending it deep with the ulti, denying the Invisible ult up. Strange ulti deep coming down through. Can he kill through? No, he does not kill through the Invisible Woman ulti that comes down. Invisible Woman ult does end up coming up even with the Rogue ulti. Moon Knight ult onto the Invisible Woman ulti, finds 1 second sub bouncing up onto the sub. It doesn't matter, all of this space has now been taken by our Japanese team. The Mag ult, maybe a bit of an overcommittal there, seeing it was a 6 versus 3. That's fair. Alright. ClydesDungeon just dying on point. A very, very solid hold, capping 90% again. Is this potentially a forewarning as to what's to come? Because they did win previous point, 90% capped. The lost point retook and won. Let's see how it goes. Only Hella ult up for ClydesDungeon. Our Japanese team investing all 6 of their ultimates, or 5 actually, to retake. Let's see how it ends up going. Will they end up seeing the ulting aggressively onto point with their tempo advantage, or especially from the Moon Knight Phoenix? Looks like they will. Yes, they know the game. You have supports, they don't. The Phoenix Moon Knight, such a dog shit. Come on, man. One ends up going down, both subs, it's just over. As long as, hey, Ness, what are you doing? You were not standing on your support for half of that. I know you were winning, but you wanted to make the game interesting, I guess. Like, you altered forwards, you tunnel vision stepping off the Sark Bolt. I'm la-da-dee, gonna drop low. 98%, OT does end up getting triggered for the Japanese team with a suicide play from Rogue. Teleport does come through onto point. Balkyopter coming through from splits. 2 end up getting found. It should just be a 1 fight for our ClydesDungeon Aussie team. Beating out the Japanese players. It was a close series in the end, going into game 3. Maybe I'm speaking too soon though. The seeing the ult coming down to point early. Heller ult already down. Is it winnable for our Japanese team? Actually playing the Loki for the runes. The tempo runes coming through. Pushing ClydesDungeon off a point. Cooney holding touch. It looks like, I'm just going to assume it's a 6 versus 6 fight. Huge strange ult coming through out of Chase out of Shimmer's huge. It finds both tanks. All 3 tanks on the front line. Seeing the eye from the backside. Only ends up getting 1 pick. Runes go down. However, Rogue dying on the front line. The Emerald zoning off the backside of our Japanese team. And it should just be winning for ClydesDungeon. Even though Heller does end up falling to the Psylocke. Yep, GG. Well played. That was a 2-1. And then, oh, I didn't get the whole tab. There we are. There we are. Can I pause? Let me pause. There we are. There is our 2-1 win for ClydesDungeon. Strange. No, take me back. Bullshit. Alright, that's our 2-1 win. Ace going over to Standard Bomb. Our resident Strange player of the series. Insane ultis coming through basically on every single map. And Rogue, as much effort as she decided to put in, it wasn't quite enough. Again, losing the game to that Rogue Phoenix, sorry, not the Rogue Phoenix combo, the Moon Knight Phoenix duo, farming way too much supports for the enemy team, allowing for a tempo win for ClydesDungeon. GG's, well played. I think I actually casted that one kind of decently. Yippee! Alright, GG's.